Jason,
Travis.
are you working on your saxophone skills?
It was the first time I played in a long time.
Dude, I thought you f***ing crushed it.
Well,
and this is how I know you crushed it,
okay.
because I didn't hear yours.
Yeah, no, that's why it was good.
Either you were faking it,
I was playing.
or you...
They said that after joking about how unprofessional the moment felt and warning each other to stay cool despite the nerves, the podcast hosts welcomed their guests by explaining they were in awe of the situation and admitted they could hardly believe it was happening. Then, after a light exchange, they introduced Leonardo DiCaprio and Benicio Del Toro with an enthusiastic build-up, noting the awards, the box office successes, and the iconic movies that defined their careers, and the guests laughed at the dramatic energy of the introduction, calling it intense like a wrestling announcement, before thanking the host for the welcome and commenting that they were reaching the end of a long press tour for their new film, which had already taken them to Los Angeles, London, and Mexico City before this final stop in New York, and the host praised the movie's dynamic between the two actors, saying it was both political and entertaining without feeling heavy, while DiCaprio explained that the humor came naturally from the way director Paul had written the situations, describing how his character was portrayed as a man trying to raise a daughter who was too stoned to get off the couch, unable to remember important passwords from his past, and leaning only on the karate teacher as his one reliable ally, which allowed the comedy to shine as he kept failing in espionage tasks, falling off roofs, or drinking and driving, all while the deeper story about fatherhood remained at the heart. And the hosts agreed that the film worked because beneath the revolution and government tension, it was a relatable story about a father trying to protect his daughter while messing up along the way, with DiCaprio adding that Paul had been developing the script for nearly 2 decades, inspired by thoughts of his own daughter in a turbulent world, which gave the personal touch that made it so powerful. Then, when asked about working with Paul Thomas Anderson, DiCaprio reflected on how he had admired the director since watching Boogie Nights and had wanted to be part of his filmography ever since, describing Anderson as a generational filmmaker who built humanity into unexpected worlds, from porn to oil barons, always elevating cinema. And he explained that being involved in such a project felt like contributing even a small piece to an artist's legacy. And Del Toro agreed with those sentiments, while praising the process of collaborating on a politically charged but intimate story, after which the conversation shifted to broader reflections on their careers, with the hosts acknowledging the difficulty of sustaining such consistent success and the actors responding with gratitude for being able to choose roles that felt meaningful rather than just commercially safe. And in that moment, the hosts inserted a quick reminder for listeners to subscribe so they would not miss future interviews. Moving back then to the discussion of the film's themes, where the actors elaborated on how humor, politics, and personal relationships were woven together by design rather than accident. The narrative then transitioned to a separate story being reported about the relationship between NFL star Travis Kelce and singer Taylor Swift, described as one of the most unexpected but enduring celebrity romances of recent years. And observers recalled how 2 years earlier their first public appearance together had seemed almost too surreal. Yet, as of September 2025, the couple had not only proved doubters wrong, but celebrated their anniversary with a secretive trip to the Scottish Highlands, only days before Swift's scheduled appearance on a London talk show, and witnesses in Scotland said the pair were seen strolling hand in hand through cobblestone streets, sharing laughs in Edinburgh cafes, where she sampled traditional cake and he enjoyed coffee. And staff members who served them described the connection between them as obvious in their expressions and body language, while fans online reacted with joy that the couple still appeared deeply in love after 2 years, calling it a fairy tale and praising how authentic they seemed despite the spotlight. And others noted the balance in their relationship with Swift's vulnerable artistry, complimenting Kelce's supportive strength amid demanding football seasons. It was then revealed that they had recently become engaged in late August, a development that sent the internet into a frenzy as followers examined every clue in the photos from her manicure to background details, while Kelce's father shared that the proposal itself had been simple and heartfelt, carried out at his Kansas City home, transformed into a magical setting, timed carefully between her tour and his commitments. and witnesses said the intimacy of the moment showed that the gesture was about love rather than spectacle. And with the engagement official, the focus shifted to their upcoming wedding, with close sources suggesting that instead of an extravagant celebrity event, the couple wanted something small and meaningful with only close friends and family, an approach described as true to their grounded personalities despite fame. An insider said Swift was happily immersed in planning, drawing on shared memories and travel for inspiration, with early 2026 mentioned as the likely time for the ceremony. And meanwhile, both continue to prioritize their bond despite demanding schedules, a fact that supporters found inspiring as proof that genuine love could thrive under pressure. And just before moving on, the storyteller included a brief subscribe reminder so listeners could keep following the journey. Returning to the podcast thread, the hosts asked DiCaprio and Del Toro about balancing heavy subject matter with levity, and they explained that it was essential to keep audiences engaged without preaching, saying the humor stemmed from flawed human reactions rather than forced jokes. And DiCaprio emphasized again that playing a father figure was central to the film's heart, adding that any narrative about a parent protecting a child touched people deeply, while Del Toro joked about keeping his co-star's character supplied with beer in the story to maintain equilibrium, highlighting the offbeat friendship that ran through the film. And the host noted that these performances felt timeless, comparing them to earlier classics in each actor's career, which led DiCaprio to recount how every project he chose had been about working with directors he admired, while Del Toro recalled how his journey began with smaller, riskier projects before breaking into mainstream success, and both agreed that the craft of storytelling remained the primary motivator regardless of box office numbers. After which the discussion turned briefly to the exhaustion of long promotional tours, with the guests saying that although the travel was grueling, they valued connecting with global audiences and hearing different cultural reactions. And the hosts expressed their gratitude again for having such major stars on their amateur show, admitting the surrealism of it, while the actors laughed and encouraged them to keep doing what they loved. At that point, the narrative thread about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce was revisited, describing how their romance had once been dismissed as a publicity stunt, but was now regarded as one of the strongest partnerships in the public eye. And fans on social media noted how their private Scottish getaway showed that despite fame, they could find joy in ordinary moments like walking streets or sharing meals. And commentators said that was why people rooted for them so much, because they reminded the world that even icons needed real human connection. And analysts added that the relationship also demonstrated how two ambitious people could still create space for love. And the story concluded by reflecting that with a wedding ahead, Swift's new album, and Kelce's continuing football career, their love story was only just beginning and would likely keep fans captivated for years. And the narrator closed by affirming that in both Hollywood storytelling and real-life celebrity romance, audiences were drawn to authenticity, whether in the vulnerability of a father-daughter tale on screen or the genuine bond between a musician and an athlete. And as a final prompt, listeners were reminded once more to subscribe so they would not miss the next unfolding chapter of either story.